love that. That was funky.
Thank you.
Good evening, folks and listeners across the sea.
Hello.
This is Mandy Summers, a pioneering independent comic book producer, one of the more successful crowdfunders I know of on the internet. Mandy's been producing comics for a while, starting with Wart the Wizard, and her latest is Pirate Queen. And we're going to get to that in a minute, and also new projects. But I'm looking here and it says, Mandy, you have a filmography.
I do. I do.
Oh,
You were on World Class Bullshitters.
I was on World Class Bullshitters.
How'd you get on World Class Bullshitters, and how can we get on it?
Just to go talk to Jeff. He's awesome. I'll introduce you. He's great.
Is that on a network or is that independent streaming?
I think it does a little bit of both. I think they do like some Spotify stuff. I think something like that.
Yeah.
I never know what people are doing. I just show up places and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be on like this streaming service," and I'm like, "Okay, sure."
yeah.
I never know what I'm showing up
Well,
to.
it changes too. People get different opportunities, and then they go here and there, and yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
It is. It is.
Do they tell you what to say?
Mm-mm. No, I would never not use my own voice and just do what somebody else told me to say. That is
That's
no,
called acting.
I'm Southern. We don't play that.
When did it first occur to you that you could do your own comics, and how did you end up crowdfunding them?
Okay, so like I had bought the new Rainbow Bright comics that came out. They did a new run not too long ago. And that's how I got into comic books. My first comic book ever was a Rainbow Bright comic. So when they started new ones, I thought, oh, this is awesome. I can get my daughter reading them. We'll have these to read at night. How freaking cool. So I went and got them. And, I think it made it to issue, I don't know, 5. Yeah, issue 5. And I got ready to go to buy the next issue. And it was like gone. And I'm like, what happened? So I started Googling like what was going on. And through that, I found out about like your boy Zach and that whole thing. And then through that, I found Comicsgate and I found all of these independent creators that had formed like a community of fans of comic books that were able to do it themselves and, just kind of be like, all right, fine, we'll just do. I mean, I don't know. I loved the energy. I loved the message. So as soon as I found out that was something that was even a possibility, because I had no idea that was even a thing that you could do. I figured you had to work for one of the companies if you wanted to do books like that. So yeah once I found that out, I spent like a month, maybe a month and a half kind of researching, making sure that this was actually something I could do. And then I just kind of jumped in head first. I was like, okay, I see people are doing it. They're not professionals either, and they're able to do this. So if I can just sell enough books to print and get just one copy to hand to my little girl, that's all. I mean, that would be like a dream come true. And now look at me, like it did so good. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, oh my goodness. So now it's like, this is my career. This is what I want to do with my life. And it's amazing.
What was your first self-generated comic?
The first self-generated comic, like the first one I did or the first one I ever read?
The first one you did.
The first one, Wart the Wizard.
How long ago was that?
When I started 3 years ago.
Just 3 years ago.
Just 3 years ago. Until then, it wasn't even, there was no art really, except for the stuff that me and my little girl, when we would draw it together, there was no art for it. It was literally notebooks where at night after I would finish telling her the story, I would jot down little like, okay, so Wart did this. So I could try to keep with continuity to keep her interested in it. So I started writing everything down. And when I decided to write that, I just pulled out those old notebooks and sat down and picked out. I had her sit with me and I was like, all right, which stuff do you want to go in the book? And we sat there and picked out
Oh, that's
different
cool.
parts. And that's what, yes, it was a lot of fun.
How long were you telling? And for people that don't know, yeah, the Wart the Wizard stuff is based on stories that she was telling her daughter for bedtime for a while. How long were you doing that before you did the comic? I mean, is this years
This
of
is
telling her?
This is probably about 2.5 years of telling her
Telling her
these,
the
of
stories? Yeah,
telling her these goofy
yeah,
little stories about Wart the Wizard that, and there's some that would never make the book, and it's depending on what was going on in our life during that. Like my brother got drunk and fell in a fire. And he
yeah.
got burned pretty. I mean, it's not, I'm laughing about it like it's funny, and it's not. But I mean, there's a little humor to an
Right,
idiot getting drunk and falling in a fire and actually,
right.
get
That's-
hurt from it. So there's like a whole story where one night that's what happened to Wart, but he didn't get drunk because it's a kid's
Right.
story. But yeah, Wart falls in a fire and then he it starts shooting them into, it's ridiculous. Some of them are just absolutely goofy. It just depends. Because it was just whatever was on the top of my head that night when she wanted to hear a Wart story. So, oh, sorry, my phone's beeping.
That sounds like Florida Man material.
Yeah, it sounds like cartoon material. Like he should be a cartoon.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be the coolest thing ever.
How many books have you produced so far?
Okay, so far 8.
And the
So
latest one
I've
out.
done 8 now,
What's
where
the
I've
latest one
actually
you shipped?
printed and.
Yeah. Is that the Jack the Ripper is the most recent to ship?
No. Yeah. Jack the Ripper is actually the one that I just ordered the prints. I just ordered. I've got the cards in. So yeah, we're going to be printing that as soon. We are 6 pages away from being done. So as soon as those 6 pages are done, I will do the print files and ship them right off. And then Pirate Queen 2 will be fulfilling in June. So we're still right on time on that one.
Did you say Pirate Queen 2?
Yeah.
I was very impressed with your book.
Yay! Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness!
He definitely liked the art a lot.
Clint's a good artist, ain't he?
Where does he live?
North, very, very, very north.
That's
In Alabama?
No, Clint lives north of the United States, like
He's in Canadian.
Michigan or Minnesota, one of those, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
Did you do any of the coloring in this book?
No.
Do you color?
I did on Wart the Wizard, the original Wart the Wizard. I did the colors for that one. I did everything on that one myself. But no, I wanted to learn how to do everything with the Wart the Wizard. So even though there were people that were offering like, hey, let me color it, let me do this. I was really adamant that I wanted to do it all myself. So I, pulled out Photoshop and started practicing the coloring. And then, then my artist friends are like, no, Mandy, use Clip Studio. Go to Clip Studio. So then I had to learn how to do that by going digital. I mean, so I don't stick with nothing long enough to actually get good at it before I'm on to what I want to learn next. So I learned just enough to squeak by with stuff like that.
It's good for you to have a knowledge of what it takes and everything too.
That was my thing, is if I'm going to do this to the point to where I'm going to be hiring artists and I'm going to be hiring, letterers and colors, if I have to know what they have to go through, you know what I mean? Because you can't go and be somebody's boss if you don't know what the hell they're having to do. You know what I mean? And as the writer, a lot of times you are put in that kind of you're put in the boss seat a little bit with it because it's your story that's coming to life with the art. So yeah, I was really adamant on, if I'm going to do this, I really have to know how to do every aspect. I don't have to be the best at it, but at least have some knowledge of how to do it. So, but now I've got all of these amazing friends that there's no way I would color anything. There's so many amazing colorists in in CG. Nope, there is no way.
Tell me about how you put a story together, how you write it. Do you draw any scenes out by hand?
Only if I'm trying to give my art, if I'm having trouble explaining to my artist what I need, I will sketch up something and be like, okay, something like this. But other than that, no, I use it's all in my head. The idea will pop to me. Just any kind of idea will pop random, and it's always random. I'm folding laundry, I'm taking a bath, I'm just doing something absent-mindedly, and then an idea will come in my head. So after I think on it for a little bit, I literally just kind of lean back and close my eyes and picture what is happening in my head, and I jot it down, and then I, panel it out. I sit there and get it all down, and then compress it into 48 pages.
Well, and you grew up reading comics
Mhm.
too. So she was reading them when she was little. I did hear a little bit of that when you were talking about reading some of your brothers and different
Yes.
things, and kind of growing up do that. So I mean, there's a lot. I'm sure you learned from reading all that stuff.
Yeah, you just kind of learn. You take the things that you loved from it and
Right.
just kind of go with that, because that's what you loved about them, right? That's what pulled me in as a kid,
Yeah.
So I just do whatever it is that I loved and hope that there's other people out there that kind of loved the same aspect of it that I did.
Well, I think this book is pretty popular, isn't it?
It is. So yeah, it's like the first one did really, really well, and this one did even better. So every time we launch a new one, it seems it's going up. More people are interested in it. More people are backing it. So yeah, and we are so freaking stoked for the Pirate Queen #3, and Clint and I are going to keep going with it. So freaking stoked.
For people who haven't read Pirate Queen, if you like Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean, it's kind of a mashup between the two, with the dashing Pirate Queen, who's the heroine of the piece. And there's a lot of action. There's a lot of amusing characters. And that reminds me, this fellow here, is this based on a real person,
I think it is. I don't know. I never asked Clint who it was, but yeah, I did notice that I think that may have been
very specific.
I think that's awful specific. So yeah, but I didn't know. It could, for all I know, it could be his cousin or something. But yeah, I think that particular that's somebody that was a supporter of the book. There's no doubt in my mind.
So that wasn't from like a level on your campaign or something where you can get drawn into the book or anything?
Not that particular one, no.
Do you do that when you have a certain tier, that if you post for that tier, you get drawn into the book?
Yeah, I did that with the Wart the Wizard, the original Wart the Wizard. I did something a little bit weird with that one. Weird, maybe not the best word, but with the original Wart the Wizard, I had 5 drawn in perks. But what that did was guaranteed everybody that not only would they be in the original Wart the Wizard, but every book forward, as long as I'm making Wart the Wizard, they will have an appearance in the book. They will have so I did that, and there was only, I think, 5 of those, like I said. So there are 5 people that, in fact, all 5 of them they'll forever be in Wart the Wizard now. When I do the next one, they'll be in it and going forward, because for the people that supported me on that first one, I'm not a great artist. I'm not, and I'm amongst amazing artists. Yet all of these people, like, they supported my dream to make comics, is what they did. So when I offered the drawn in tier, y'all made this happen for me. It's those people that made it to where I can do what I'm doing now. Because if they hadn't, I wouldn't be here. And they were my biggest backers. That was my more pricey, tier. So they will forever be, like, in my heart, of my biggest supporters of my very first book. So I kind of want to celebrate them in a way. So, but yeah, we did the same with Pirate Queen too. I don't do it with all of them. I didn't do it with Super Dead. It just depends. I probably won't do it with Gymshock. So it just depends on the book, and honestly, kind of what I'm feeling when I make the campaign.
We do that too. We did it on Florida Man. We did it on Thin Blue Line.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a YouTube video channel too, don't you?
I do.
What's the name of that show?
It's just Mandy Summers.
Mandy Summers?
It's just me. It is literally just me talking about whatever crap is in my head at that moment and talking about comics. And
I should point out that Mandy's been very generous with her time and helping to promote the work of others.
Oh, I try. It's it's a community. Everybody has it. Like John Malin says, grab an oar. Everybody should try to help every independent creator. Within Comicsgate, we should all work together as a cohesive unit, and because that's how you win, is in numbers and supporting each other. That's how you build an empire.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to jump around too much, but to go back to the writing, how do you write? Do you write full script? Is that what you hand an artist?
Yes. When I hand into the artist, they get full script.
Cool.
So yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, like not Peter had me do it kind of weird. I had the full script done, but he only wanted it in pieces just because of his creative process. He only wants only give me 3 pages right now. Because if I read the whole thing, it messes with me, and I'm thinking about what's going to happen at the end and trying to add it, and I can't do that.
Right.
So, but it was done. He just didn't want it. So I would, send in page at a time or 2 or 3 pages, just enough. And when he got those done, then send in the rest. And let me tell you, as a writer, it's read it. Oh my God, read my story. What are you doing? So it's like, why would you just read it and tell me what you think? Why? So it drove me crazy. I'm like, just read it and tell me what you think. But
well, it is part of the I mean, I know what Mike's saying, but it's a different thing to be like a comic artist, because they really do like to focus on one page at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see some artists being like that, where they're like, I can't, it's almost like too much information. They just want to focus on all the small stuff for each page and get that down. Because that was some artists that are kind of like that they're just so into each page. But it's like, but yeah, too, like, because I'm a writer too. I'm like, yeah, but you need to know in like 3 pages, you're gonna see this, so you have to put this, and it has to be like that, and it makes it a lot easier, yes, if they at least read the whole thing, so they have an overall idea of the whole story. But I've seen that, because I've been and just my personality and other writers that I know too, it's difficult for them to focus on one page at a time for so long and spend, sometimes they'll spend, like 2 or 3 days, because they'll kind of sketch it out first, and then they'll, pencil it, and then they'll ink it, and maybe they'll be the one coloring it too. And it's like, I'm kind of like you too. And I think Mike is too, because Mike creates more than anybody I know. I mean, just bouncing back and forth to a million different things. But it's a different personality a lot of artists really have to be able to focus like that. So I don't doubt it.
Okay.
Do you include all dialogue on the script?
Not usually, unless it's something that I need to convey, because now with Peter I did, but like it just depends on if the artist is also my letterer. It's kind of how that works. I mean, sometimes you have to, just because they need to know there's going to be a lot of wording on this, so make room with the art, leave room for the letters. So but not always. Sometimes I do, if it is necessary. If it's not, then no, I give them what I want from the art. Just give them, the outline basically of what's happening panel by panel.
Which book is Peter's?
Peter did Super Dead, and Peter is doing Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter, and he did Wart the Wizard 2 and the Wart the Wizard. Yeah, that's Pete. Well, that's John Malin on the cover, but it's Pete on the inside.
So why Stuntman Comics?
Okay, so I wanted a name that had a good ring to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know how like Rockstar Games, right?
Right.
That has a
Yeah.
ring to it, right? It sounds, even if you've never heard of it, it has a familiar ring
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there trying to, and I went through, I mean, I had a list like this of what I wanted to name it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was some goofy ones on there. But I was sitting there in the chair and like in my recliner in the living room. And I was like, all right, no, that one's crap. No, that one's crap. No. And while I was doing it, I was looking down at my video games. There was this game that I played, and like I was like almost addicted to the fact that I had to beat this game. And the name of the game is called Stuntman. And it's a driving game. And you have to do all these little like jump the levee, flip your car, and you're trying to do all of this stuff. And it was so hard. It was so hard. And I felt like king of the freaking world, right? When I won this game, when I finally beat it. And as I'm sitting there, I was like, Stuntman Comics. Oh my God. Oh my God. Stuntman Comics. It sounds, and it's not too great because I have to watch myself that I don't name stuff too girly. Right. Because I'm very, very feminine. And so I have to stop myself like, okay, Panda Island. No, that's way too. No guy's gonna want to wear a Panda Island shirt. There's no way. So I have to be really careful. And it sounded like it was good. It was Stuntman Comics.
Okay. That would actually make a really cool comic too. If you had like say that the heroes and stuff that we have in comics, like they don't do their own stunts. Like there's actually stunt people that do the things good. In the like kind of like I mean it's not the same, but almost in the same way that when Peter David did the She-Hulk stuff and he had her be like a lawyer and she would use comics as like the reference material for like what the people were like suing over because of different events and things that had happened in like different comics. That would be kind of funny to like have it be like that and then have it be like, oh, this is that person's actually, that was a stuntman that actually did that. That's not really the real person.
That would be funny, like the Milli Vanilli of superheroes.
Yeah.
It would be great. So that would.
You know, Marvel used to have a comic, didn't last long. It was about a group of construction engineers and cleanup specialists who came in after the superheroes had trashed
destroyed everything,
and put it back together.
Yeah.
That actually sounds kind of funny. Was it good? You said it didn't last long.
I can't remember. I think I read an issue or two. I just remember the concept.
Yeah, it's one of those things where a lot of comic fans love it, but I think it's one of those things too where it's like the execution wasn't as good as the idea. But because they were even talking about, I mean, it is like so beloved. They were even talking about doing a one of the TV series on it that Marvel was doing, and they never really did. I think they actually mention it in like I think like in the pilot episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like they actually mentioned the that I can't even think of the name of the ones that do it, but it's a specific group that does it.
Sounds cute, actually.
It's an enduring idea. It's been popular in film too.
Yeah,
about the guy that comes in and cleans up after the murder. And I keep seeing there's a Quentin Tarantino film. I'm not sure who it is. It might be The Usual Suspects, where Harvey from he's a Martin Scorsese regular. We'll find out what his name is. Mean Streets.
Interesting.
Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel plays the guy that comes in and cleans up after the murder. I know it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. Does that ring a bell with either of you?
No?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one.
I like the there was one that I loved. It was Amy Adams, and they were a crime scene cleanup, and they had a thing because they're pulling and in the commercial, it's really funny in the commercials. They show they're pulling out a bed that has like blood all over it from like somebody and like she and her like I think it's her sister or something that they started it together. And I think it's like Sunshine Cleaning or something like that.
I think you're right.
and they're carrying it, and then the sister says something and it pisses the other one off, so they just drop it, and then the other person like falls face first on the bloody bed, and it's like oh my god, and she like freaks out. But it's pretty funny. It is one of those things. Yeah, people keep using it over and over. But what is not to be all greedy, but I'm just interested because I think on Wart the Wizard you raised about, at least on the Indiegogo. I don't know if you did anything on Kickstarter too for Wart the Wizard.
No,
but,
it's specifically Indiegogo.
But I know you raised about 17,000 with that.
Yeah, with the first one.
Do you know how much or what's the most that you for one of your comic things?
The highest one now would be Jack the Ripper. It's I think at 59,000 now. So nice. Yeah, that's definitely so far is without a doubt my highest campaign. So yeah.
When do you think that's going to ship?
Let's see. Like I said, as soon as Peter finishes the last 6 pages, it's waiting on my artist.
Does he have the script for the last 6 pages?
Oh yeah. No, he's had a medical situation come up. So it's kind of put him on a little bit of a bed rest situation for the past 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
But so I'm just waiting on him to get better, prayers to him. Maybe it'll speed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does 2022 look like to you? Do you have books planned out for the entire year?
I do. I am I have so many planned. We're gonna be doing Pirate Queen number 3 this year. Super Dead 2 is gonna be coming. The next Wart the Wizard, the next Jack. I mean, so we're just gonna keep. I have 3 artists, so I'm just between the 3 artists and we are constantly, always have a book, always have a book be funding with.
So you're planning at least 4 books by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. At least.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You seem like almost like you would have your own little comic company with many different people doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. But, I thrive when a lot's going on. I thrive under. I do better. I mean, it sounds crazy because nobody would say this. I do better when the decks are stacked pretty high. That's when I'm able to focus in at a ridiculous level.
Yeah.
And really get some stuff done. So now I like staying busy. I like keeping my artist with with money coming in. So, and with 3 different artists, I'm constantly writing. I'm constantly in a back room. I'm constantly approving stuff. I'm getting fulfillments are always going. It seems I'm always in the middle or getting ready, gearing up. Like right now, I'm gearing up for the Jack the Ripper. Getting the prints ordered, getting everything in that I can get in. I've got all my Geminis and bubble wrap, all that. So just preparing for it because once you start, that's your kitchen's gone. You ain't using that kitchen again until you're done. So then you could eating fast food every night and you're gaining weight and it's going to your butt and you're like, I can't keep living like this, but then you keep doing it and it just.
Mike hates it when it goes to his butt.
It's bad, ain't it? It's horrible when it goes straight to your butt.
Do you offer your artists contracts, your independent contractors?
Yes, they sign contracts.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they appreciate it.
Yeah, it makes sure everything stays fair. Even everybody knows what they're getting into. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what is to be expected. So yeah,
Do you pretty much handle the printing and stuff too?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as I know for some of your stuff, I don't know if it's all of it, but you use Mix'em.
I do. I use Mix'em, and then I have a few others that I hop around to, depending on who can get it to me the quickest. So, but most of my books so far have been printed through Mix'em.
And do you ship them all in containers like this?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
Gemini.
only
Yep.
use Gemini's. And if it is a larger, because I have some tiers that really have a lot of comics in there that just
Right.
will not fit in a Gemini.
Nope.
I package those in the boxes, honestly, that the comics come in, because
Right.
they're, you know what I mean? And then I just fill it and I bubble wrap everything. So, but yes, all of my, unless there's too many to fit in just a Gemini, everything comes in Geminis because I want to make sure that their books are protected. I'm a collector.
Right.
I've got probably three short boxes of comics that I've never even read. I just thought the cover was pretty.
Right.
I'll read
Yep.
them one day. I'll get into it one day. But you're in the store and you're like, oh, that's so pretty. And you grab it. Well, y'all probably don't say that's pretty, but I do. I say, oh, that's so pretty. And then I just, and then I may never read it, but it was a gorgeous book. So
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that do that collect that way.
So I've got so I collect. So I know I don't. And my brother got me so good when I was little because I dog-eared one. I don't even remember what comic it was anymore, but whatever it was, I'm gonna have to ask him what he was so mad. He was like, he punched the door. I mean, he was mad because I was dog. Yeah, so I'll have to ask him what book that was because
it's probably worth a lot of money.
It was
now.
probably worth a lot of money with me in there digging through his boxes.
Do you ship everything media mail?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bit of a controversy raging in Comicsgate these days.
It is.
However, I think that when you use the Gemini folder, you're really doing everything you can to prevent damage to that book. I don't think you can do much better.
No, and I bubble wrap mine as well, so it doesn't just come in the Gemini. I put it in bubble wrap and then I put it in the Gemini. And of course, if somebody, messaged me and said, hey, Mandy, my book is absolutely, boogered beyond repair or, got damaged in shipping, I would have absolutely no issue with just, all right, well, just what was your address? What's your backer number? I'll send you another one out because, it's all, for me, it's all about customer satisfaction.
Yeah.
I really want people, they're spending a lot of money on a book.
Oh, yeah.
I really want them to feel like they got their money's worth when they get their book, and some of that price does go into, their shipping prices. That, in my mind, when I pay, $15, $20 for shipping, I expect that to be shipped really well. I don't want to see my books. I'm sure you guys have done it too, where you order a book off of eBay and they taped that thing beyond, and they taped it to the Gemini. They taped it in, and tape is a comics book's worst enemy, right?
Yeah,
You don't,
yeah.
and it's like, why would you use all this tape? So yeah, when you back through me, I'm gonna make sure that you are gonna get your comic book in good condition. I want if in 10 years you decide to have that bad boy graded, you can go and have it graded, and it's gonna be a 9.6 or better. I don't want any like 8.9, 9. You mess it up, that's on your own. But when you first get it, I want it to be, 9.6 or better because that's what you're paying for.
Do you take care of fulfillment yourself?
I do. Yes.
Is it all you, or does the family members kick in?
If you, they want to help me. They would help.
She's too difficult to work with.
They basically look. It's a little stuff like, all right, I was sitting there one night and I think it was Wart the Wizard, the original Wart the Wizard. I'm sitting there and I'm signing them. I've got stacks and stacks and stacks. I'm sitting there signing. Been doing it for about, 30 minutes. I get up and I think it was to go make a cup of coffee or something. I just got up I swear I was gone less than 60 seconds. And I came back and my little boy had taken a Sharpie and is doodling on my brand new comic stack. He got like 7 of them where he was helping. So now I wait until everybody is in bed. When I start fulfillment, I'll wait till the kids are in bed. My husband is in bed. And then I will quietly sit in the kitchen and get my little line going, my little assembly line started up, and just do a big circle around my table as I'm picking stuff up. And then, I mean, I must circle that table 100 times over and over and over. But, I don't trust anybody else to do it but me. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm doing it right. So
Well,
I don't,
you're also going to save money doing it yourself. It's just a matter of if you have
can I?
time.
Yeah, can I? Am I gonna? I mean, it's a great problem to have, but definitely as I
Right.
am getting bigger and my campaigns are getting larger, obviously I'm starting to think of how much longer am I actually going to be able to do fulfillment without. I mean, but I got friends, like I can hire my sister. I give her $20 and order a pizza.
Yeah.
And and she'll be, so I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to aggravate nobody with Mandy's dreams over here. So
Yeah.
I typically just leave everybody alone and do it myself.
Well, do you
Yeah.
take the books to the post office or do they come to you?
I take them, but they will come to you. But I usually take them because I like my post office guys. They'll take pictures of me, like doing my fulfillment pictures out there. Like they're all on it. They're
Yeah,
like,
that's good.
I walk in and it's like the Cheers bar. They're like, Minnie, and I'm like, yeah. So no, I've got a real like rapport going with my post office dudes. I like them. They're fun.
Well, yeah, it gives you, like you said, it gives you like social media posts and stuff to do.
Yeah.
Too.
They're so yeah. I like
So
aggravating them.
you're printing your postage at home, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did. I went. All right. It's a kind of a funny story. So with Wart the Wizard, I wasn't using stamps.com yet. I didn't have the printer and all the thing, just and do it yourself.
Right.
I was writing and I was handwriting all of the addresses. I went to the post office one day and I must have had, I had like 30 books done and I was going to the post office to drop them off. As that guy's putting in the number, the line behind me is getting longer and longer. And I think these people were going to kill me. They were getting really, really mad at me. They were not. And I came home and I looked at my husband. I said, I'm lucky I made it out of there. I can't do this. Now I'm going to get one of these rednecks ain't going to take my crap no more.
Yeah.
And because I was starting to like I would have like 30 done, but I would take 10 to this post office and then I would drive a little bit down and drop 10 more to another one in the go because I was making people mad. So yeah, I had to stop that.
I have a post office with 6 windows, and on busy days they'll have 4 windows open. So they can't get mad at you because everybody's going at their own pace.
Right.
Yeah, mine's Mayberry.
I live in Mayberry, so we got one. He's a little old man, but he likes that I'm making comic books. He thinks that's cool. And then there's the younger kid that works up there with him, and the whole post office is probably about the size of the room I'm sitting in.
Wow.
I live in a small town. It's a really, really small town. Like,
do they have like a big back room or warehouse or anything?
Yeah, they have a little back area, but like your little waiting area. Right. There's only one window. There's one guy, and there's a little waiting area that like you could only get 2 people in there at a time when they were doing the social distancing.
Right.
You could only have 2 people in there at one time because if it was more, you couldn't social distance because the room was just so tiny. But they'll let me ride with my books. They'll push me around on the little cart to the back. I mean, they're, like I said, they're fun. That's what's so great about living in a small town, though, because like
I have to say that the postal clerks at our main post office have also been very supportive.
Yes,
they know what I do.
Mm-hmm. Now people seem to be into it. They hear what you do and they're like, "Well, that's freaking awesome. That is freaking cool." And I'm like, "I know, right? Of course it is. This is great. This is like the most fun I've ever had. This is so cool."
Do you do any like store levels for like the stores are there any stores buying your stuff like in bulk at all or not really?
Not really. I mean, but I haven't hit up my local one yet and told them that I'm like, "Hey, I go in there all the time. I do, but I don't go in there like, hey, I'm Comicsgate. You want to sell some of my books? But you know, I probably should. I should start. I just haven't. I go in there. I buy my Magic cards. I buy my D&D books, and you know whatever dollar because I ain't buying new ones. Whatever dollar comics they got that looks like something I would like, and then I jet. I'm out of there. Get me some new dice.
Okay, so do you have Wart the Wizard created as a D&D character?
Yes.
That's I play D&D too, so
yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it with any of my characters like that.
I do have a little Wart character. He nobody wants to play with him though.
That's funny
because I play him right, and he messes everything up. And
right.
he's got points and crap that doesn't matter for him.
Right. Yeah.
So I make sure that he sticks to character of Wart the Wizard. The point of Wart is not that he's some great wizard. It's the point that he's not. He's not a great wizard. There's nothing. He's selfish. He's kind of a jerk. I mean, he finally gets the staff of wishes and he breaks it over his knee because he's, look at you. He's a butt munch. So I play him like a butt munch. So everybody's always sad when I say, I'm playing Wart tonight. And they're like, oh, no, don't do that. So
that's funny. Yeah, he's an agent of chaos.
Yes.
But but this, I don't know. See the group, and we have an actual play podcast that does it. Mm-hmm. We have a couple people like that in our group, and it's like, but we have a blast with it, like, because it just makes everything so crazy. Mm-hmm. That it's always it always keeps you on your toes. I like it.
Yeah, that's how I like to play. I get into it a little bit like a ridiculous level. I'm really extra about it.
Yeah.
So I like being extra sometimes.
Yeah. No, that was just I was just interested in that since I had heard that you like D&D, and then you also have him, and I was like, I wonder if she's done that.
I have.
That would be kind of fun to kind of cross over some of your stuff. Like you could even make that an extra tier or something.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
But,
have you thought about writing straight prose?
No. Do you think I should?
I don't know. I'm just I'm curious because a lot of people that start out writing comics go on to write straight prose, and a lot don't. I mean, a lot just write comics, and that's all they ever write.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never. Comics is just what I love. It's you know what I mean.
Fine.
But maybe one day. Maybe I mean, never. I never say never. But right now I'm really enjoying the making comics. It's still because I've only been doing it 3 years. I don't have like 20 or 30 years of like any kind of fatigue. This is like brand new for me. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready to go. Let's make some comics, y'all. So I'm like excited. Like let's do this. Let's show all of these people, how to make comics like we like them, as they single-handedly destroy the industry. So I might one day though, but right now I'm just sticking with the comics.
Yeah. So what are your views on the state of the regular comic industry?
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I'm heartbroken. I was I don't even it's hard to even know what to say other than I'm heartbroken. I hate that this. I accept that this is what it is. This is how it is. This is the new.
Right.
I accept it, but I'm heartbroken about it, and I refuse to just be like, well, all right, I'll never read a comic again. Then if that's all I have, if that's all there was, and there was not independent comics, I just never read them again. And so thank God for independent, right? I mean, because it's just heartbreaking. Plain and simple. As a fan from 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old on, you watch this industry that you you know, looked back and you read Wizard magazines and you tried to learn everything you could. I mean, granted, mine was mostly about Rob Liefeld, but I tried to learn everything I could. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I didn't want it to turn out like that.
Yeah.
When you say turn out like that,
Mm-hmm.
What are you referring to? Decline in quality?
The absolute decline in quality, the treatment of fans when they had the nerve to speak out of, hey, you know, this character, if they were out there making their own characters, making their own book and destroying them, fine, do it. You make whatever character you want to. It's your book. These aren't your characters. These are Marvel's characters. These are DC's characters. And you are taking these characters that somebody else created. You didn't create those. Somebody else created those. They lost them quite unfairly. They don't have those anymore. Yeah. Marvel does. DC does. And you go and take these people's babies, basically, and just destroy them. Destroy every aspect. You turn everything as everything is I'm this now. I'm the first gay. I'm the first damn, and it's nothing story wise. They put nothing into the story, just propaganda. And I don't want to read propaganda. I want to read a comic book. I want to read a comic.
Yeah.
So it's sad, heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's really. I will say, like, and that's the thing. Like, I understand when it's something that it kind of depends on, like, I mean, for me, it's like motivation is everything. Like, if it's just, you know, you're getting a chance and you've always seen this character this way and you want to do something, you know, a little different, put your own spin or whatever, it's one thing. But sometimes it's like, it's like some of these people get on these characters and it's like, they don't even like the characters that they're writing.
They hate the character. They look at the character, even the origination of it. And they say, this character was wrong and I can fix it. And how insulting.
Yeah.
How disrespectful and insulting to sit there and say, you can make these characters better than the originals, the people that created the characters. It's
the only way you can do that is if you stay true to the spirit of the character.
Exactly. And they don't, because they think that it was wrong. They look at these characters. They look at Batman, for example. Oh, he's just a rich cis male using his money to go and fight clowns. And are you kidding me? That's how they look at him? Then no, you don't need to write that character. You don't love that character.
Right.
Stay in your lane. Write about the things you care about, not destroy things that you don't. So you can make it something that you like. Well, guess what? When you make it something that you like, all of those original fans are now not going to like it. So you have single-handedly killed an IP.
Yeah.
So,
well, I also think that they've a number of them have forgotten the first rule of comic writing, which is the job is to entertain, and that has to come first. You have to think: is the audience going to dig this? Are they going to be excited? Are they going to want to know what happens next?
Exactly, and they don't do. They, like I said, they just turned it to propaganda. That's all it is. It's pushing an agenda. It's pushing a way of thought. I mean, and they'll always go back to, well, there's always been propaganda in comics. Not like this. Not like this. No. I mean, there has. There's it's always been sprinkled in. It's always been sprinkled in. With any writing it is. With any writing it is. But not like this.
There are so many options today. When you go outside the regular comics, there are also a number of small publishers and middle-sized publishers that are putting out vital books. Dark Horse, for example, Advent.
Yeah.
Even Dynamite.
Yeah. Dynamite actually looks like they have some kind of cool stuff coming out for the first time in a long time.
I mean, eventually, I'm figuring this eventually will end.
Yeah.
It's a fad, right? It's a fad, so it'll eventually end. But what's going to be left of these when it's?
Well, you know, I don't. Are you talking about the mainstream comics?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the whole the world viewpoints as
Right.
of right now. I think
Oh yeah, of
eventually
course
that,
that'll pass. That'll pass.
yeah, that'll
The
pass.
great
And
material lasts forever. You know, a really
mhm,
well-written comic, and I'm not comparing it to Shakespeare or Herman Melville, but I mean classic comics like some of Stanley's Spider-Man
mhm,
books or Fantastic Four books or Roy Thomas Conan the Barbarian. Or some of the great Batman stuff, that's always going to be in print. It's always going to be there as a touchstone for
mhm,
people who want to see the character maximized to
right.
their potential.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It'll eventually end. And I hope when it does, all of these amazing indie creators are sitting on top of
So
just looking down like, well, we
so
tried.
so if you had a chance
Mhm.
to write one Marvel book and one DC book, what would they be?
Ooh, okay. Let me think. That's a tough one. That's tough. Okay. DC, obviously, I'd want to do Batman.
Yeah.
Obviously. How do you know? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a, to me, Batman would be easy. I know that character.
It
It would
should
be,
be.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would be an easy write for me. There's not
Yeah, he's just a rich guy that punches clowns.
yeah, there's not much. And Marvel, you probably think I'm crazy, but I think I would like to draw or do write Cable.
Yeah.
Cable.
I
I
think
would
he
I
is
believe it.
alpha. Cable
Oh
is
yeah.
alpha. I mean,
My
and I've
son
always
loves Cable.
he's awesome. He is
Yeah.
awesome. And it's not just because of the last name, but no, I love him. He's
Yeah.
great. And so yeah, I think that
Oh yeah, I didn't see that. Yeah, it is because of the last name.
I know. I
Yeah.
found a guy with the last name so I could
No, I was gonna say that's why you married him, huh?
That's why I married him. I married him for the last name. If
Nice.
he ever leaves me, I'm keeping the last name.
Nice.
So
Is your husband named Cable?
no,
No, Summer.
Summers. Oh, I
Summers.
was confused there for a minute.
Yeah. She's
But
hoping to turn into Phoenix sometime.
but yeah, so yeah, I think I would like to do. I think writing Cable would be really fun, and again, it would be an easy write for me because I love the character. So
Right.
it would be an easy write.
Hmm.
So definitely those two. Definitely those two.
But Jeff, let me ask you that question. If you could
Oh.
write any two major characters, who would they be?
See, characters. I tell you what book I would love to write for DC would be Legion of Superheroes. Because I love sci-fi and I love superheroes, and I've always liked the Legion. And actually, I even had, and I posted it on my timeline, and people have seen it. I'm actually doing it in the audio superhero universe I created with a friend called Supersonic, but where I took some of these characters and I'm actually doing them as a team now. But I wrote a where I basically took the and I even tried to present it to DC too, where I wanted to do a new Legion comic that was kind of like taking the doing like the Legion kind of like the new Teen Titans, because the Legion has had the same people in it forever. It's like we need to have their children be like the new things, and especially with as many of them as have like dated or almost gotten married or whatever, like it would be, I was like, oh, but then you can combine all these different characters and then you get these kind of these cool mixes of powers and stuff. And but it never worked out. But I've always wanted to do that. I even drew up sketches and stuff. Anybody looks on my Facebook timeline will see them. I'll probably post them again so that people can see them. But I actually recently had this past year introduced these characters because I wanted to do, we weren't doing any teams in our thing, and but we are now, and I kind of introduced them, and I'm using basically my ideas of that. Now Marvel, on the other hand, well, Marvel is tough because I've liked a lot of different things.
Yes, I was always a Marvel girl. Like I've read some DC, I read some, but I was always Marvel was always that's what I could get my hands on.
I probably, and this tells you what a space cadet I am. I honestly I would probably do Silver Surfer.
No, that's a good. No, that's awesome.
I think
that is awesome.
Just because it's like, man, it's just there's so many countless, and he's just such a classic tragic character, and And yeah, I mean, like I love that. I would do that. And which one? So which ones would you do that you have not done, Mike?
Yeah.
I always want to do Master of Kung Fu because
Yeah,
I think that a martial arts comic should contain martial arts.
yeah, that's weird. That's just
I know.
weird.
I can see why you would come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I kind of come to the same conclusion you do on that, but yeah.
So what about DC then?
Oh, I'm one of those guys that they say, Mike, we want you to write X.
Right, and
And I'm all in. I say, yeah, I'll write X, and I do my research and I think about it, and I come up with a story that's suitable for X. You know what? For DC, I would probably like to do
Swamp Thing.
Who?
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing?
Dude.
I'd be happy to do Swamp Thing. But I
Not
was
your
thinking
first
one
choice,
of the Western titles, actually.
Oh yeah. Oh, like the what are they? All-Star West? No, that's Marvel.
Jonah Hex.
Yeah. Jonah Hex. Yeah, you would do good with Jonah Hex.
First thing I do with Jonah Hex, I'd have him take his straight razor, look in a mirror, and go sniff it.
You can't. See, you're as bad as the far left people writing them. You just got to change it into what you want it to be.
Well, then there's also the question, well, how did that flap of skin grow from his upper lip to his lower lip?
And would he just bleed to death if he did that?
Right. That is a thought. They could cauterize it. Be like a Man Called Horse thing where they
I know. He could get drunk and fall into a fire and it would cauterize it.
There we go. There we go.
Bringing it full circle.
Or it could be chewed off by an aggressive badger.
Yeah. Just gotta stick him in. Yeah, that's actually that would be really funny to see you writing.
He falls down drunk outside a badger's burrow.
Yeah.
I like this. I like where this is going. We should be writers, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, did you say your new Kickstarter, or is it Indiegogo?
Indiegogo, yes.
Okay.
I'm exclusive to Indiegogo right now. I may eventually branch out, but
yeah. It's good. I mean, at least people know where to find you and to keep coming back there instead of trying to bounce back and forth or whatever. But but your new one, your Gem Shock. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so this is my newest one, and I'm gonna launch it on March the 11th at around noon. So this one is, I'm trying to.
It's like if you like Witchblade and Amethyst.
It's kind of a mix up of Witchblade, Gen 13. You're gonna get a little bit of Youngblood, and I kind of want to do a little Deadpool aspect with this with my writing. I love Deadpool, so I want to do a little bit of that. But no, so that's kind of what you're gonna get the vibe with Gem Shock. But yeah, basically we have Mackenzie. She's a college student dating a very rich guy. Ends up, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but she ends up with a 0 diamond that is basically going to kind of take over her, well, a little bit like Witchblade or a little bit like a symbiote where it kind of comes out of her, and she's going to be able to use these diamonds now. It's in a choker, and that's where her powers are going to come from, and it's going to allow her to grow diamonds off of her skin to protect her from attacks, make her really, really strong. It's going to make it where she can have them come up out of the ground. She can shoot them. She can. So lightning. There's going to be a lightning charge. I'm doing a lot of research on how diamonds are actually created. Yep. That is actually how I came up with the idea when I took it to Dale. Yeah. Because I was researching why I was researching diamonds. I don't know. I just wanted to know how they were built, where they came from. So I was researching diamonds, and I thought, you know what? I don't think there's ever been, at least to my knowledge, a superhero that used it like a girl that's used any kind of diamond. Now, I believe they've added that a little bit with Emma Frost, but it's nothing like Emma Frost.
Right.
Nothing like Emma Frost.
Amethyst.
So.
Well, yeah, the Amethyst isn't really a superhero, though.
Yeah. So I kind of, I went with it. I went to Dale Keown and I was like, hey, look, I got an idea.
She's name dropping now.
No, because he helped me so much with it. Yeah. Like I can't, and just the simple fact that he was willing to help me.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
what? So no, I took it to him and I was like, have you ever heard of a comic book that does this? And he's like, no. And it's such a simple idea. How has this not been done? How is this, it's so yeah, I started like kind of, talking to him about it. And yeah, I came up with Gymshock. So yeah, she's just a normal college girl who, and then of course the owner of her boyfriend's father, the one that actually, he's a big mafia guy. He's the one that actually had the stone. Once he finds out that stone actually, it's true that stone is not just some weird little legend or tale. This actually does have a power to it. Then he starts trying to force her to use it for what he wants her to use it for. And it's going to be a big, a power thing of her trying to figure out what the heck is happening to her. She hasn't had this her whole life. This is something that just happened by happenstance to her one day. So at the same time of trying to learn how to control it, how to use it, what all can it even do? She also had the mafia guys trying to control her to use it for what they want. She's got, villains, because in this world there are other superheroes. She's not the only one. There are super villains. There's other superheroes. And I will be incorporating some others at points. So yeah, she's going to go up against Afterlife, who is going to be the main villain in this one. Think of like Hulk Pit, just big, menacing.
Yeah.
Fast, Oh, sorry.
Sounds very exciting. Okay. Who's the artist?
So the interiors are going to be done by my friend Fernando. I have not introduced him to anybody yet. He is on Twitter. He knows who we all are and everything. I don't know how good his English is. In text it's good. In text it's amazing.
Right.
But I'm gonna try to get him on a few live streams because I want everybody to meet him, because he is such an amazing guy. He is such a great artist, and I think he is going to be an amazing add-on to Comicsgate, just to all of us in general. I think he's just awesome, and I want everybody to be able to meet him. Do you want to see? I can show y'all a couple of the interiors.
Sure.
I actually got them.
Hey,
so I came semi-prepared. So right here is a page.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I had Farah Nurmaliza doing the colors on this.
That's very impressive.
It's very really impressive. Good, right? And then I have the same one. There we go. No, dadgummit.
Spider-Gwen, yeah.
I love Spider-Gwen. It still ain't done. It hasn't. All right, let me stop sharing 1 second. I'll pull up the full.
Pull up the other.
Yeah, because I don't know why it's not. I do know why it's not.
Who all do you have lined up to do covers for it?
Right now, just Dale, but I do have there is another cover in mind. So just as of right now, though, just Dale. But yeah, here soon I will be announcing who the other cover artist is. So.
And that's when you'll be announcing that it's sponsored by Jared, right?
By Jared? You mean the Subway guy?
No.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the $5 footlong guy.
The jewelry guy.
Oh,
jewelry company.
He went to Jared's.
Yeah.
He went to Jared's. So there's a full page spread
Lovely.
that he did.
Great.
So that's Mackenzie. So, and yeah, I think once the diamonds are colored in and it's got that sparkle and it's got that bling, it's really, really gonna pop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so above freaking stoked for this book.
So when does that start?
At March the 11th. I'm going to launch at about noon.
Okay.
And I will probably be live on a stream somewhere most of the day, I would imagine.
Cool.
I'm just going to travel.
Yeah.
Well, I can't take all the credit. I drink a lot of Red Bull.
What have you
and coffee.
And she might sleep less than you, actually, Mike.
I doubt that. But thank you, Mandy.
No, thank you guys. Yep. This has been amazing. Y'all are awesome.
Thank you.
Y'all are cool.
All right. We'll have you back one of these days.
Yeah.
All right. Do I go or do you play an outro?
You stay here forever.
I stay here forever and then y'all leave.
We'll play. Yeah, we'll play an outro. Have a good one.
Bye.